What's going on, everyone? So, Darvin Ham has his work cut out for him, undoubtedly, right? He's got a ridiculous roster, and with that, he has a bunch of tools at his disposal, but he needs to figure out how to use those tools, figure out what pieces fit best to the overall puzzle, what guys are going to get the majority of playing time, which guys are going to get the least amount, which units work the best. And very early on, I imagine that there will be all kinds of different configurations out there, right? I imagine that there will be all kinds of different looks. They'll go, medium-sized units, big units. What does this guy look with these guys? What do these two guys look with these guys? And there will be a lot of trial and error early on, which is fine, right? You want to get that worked out the first, 50 games or so of the season, right? That gives you enough sample size to figure out, okay, these are our core 10 guys. These are the 10 best guys on the roster. These are the best units that work together. Because just because somebody is more talented than somebody else doesn't necessarily mean that they are the best fit with the main core guys on the court, right? So Darvin Ham is going to need to navigate that. And then post trade deadline, post All-Star break, once you get to kind of that back half of games, that's when teams really start to lock down, lock in, focus, get their seating situated, get healthy, obviously, and then also basically start rounding out the roster and the unit that you're going to run going into the playoffs. Get all your plays together, everything like that. Now, Darvin Ham, I know a lot of people are very kind of split on him, I guess. A lot of people don't think that he is the coach for the Lakers. Me personally, I've been a huge defender of Darvin Ham, and I completely disagree. I think Darvin Ham being in year one had huge success. I mean, the guy was given basically a bag of peanuts and was told to turn it into an elephant. And he was able to weather the storm enough to win. Rob Pelinka finally got the okay from Jeannie to put a real roster together. Darvin Ham was given that roster, and he helped lead that to the Western Conference Finals. My biggest issue I see with people, when the Lakers win, Darvin Ham gets zero credit. It had nothing to do with Darvin Ham. Darvin Ham might as well have not even been on the sidelines. But when the Lakers lose, it's solely on Darvin Ham. It's not on LeBron shooting us out of the game. It's not on a range of bad turnovers or guys not hitting shots or not guys missing defensive assignments or Anthony Davis being a no-show or whatever, right? It's always seems to be Darvin Ham. Darvin Ham was the scapegoat last year. And my problem is, if you want to blame Ham, that's fine, but then you got to credit him when they win. You can't have it, only one way. It can't be when the Lakers win, Darvin Ham had nothing to do with it. But when the Lakers lose, Darvin Ham had everything to do with it. If you want to blame him for the losses, you got to credit him for the wins. That's my biggest thing. I think he did a great job managing all the things he needed to manage. He outcoached some of the best coaches in the league this year in the playoffs. And, I get some people criticize him for not starting D'Lo or not moving D'Lo out of the starting unit sooner, things like that. But it wasn't just D'Lo, right? Like, nobody showed up. LeBron didn't show up till that final game when we got swept, and he was just trying to keep us from not getting swept, right? And what are you going to do? It's not like we had this incredible roster that we have now, right? What was he supposed to do? He was supposed to go to Lonnie Walker, who had a great series the series before, but then completely disappeared and was basically unplayable. Malik Beasley, who was unplayable. No, outside of Austin Reeves, everyone disappeared in that Denver series, and we still were close. We still had opportunity. The only thing Darvin Ham could really do was just hope that maybe D'Lo and the other guys turn it around, and so you stick with it. Don't really blame him for that. Was he perfect? Absolutely not. Right? He had his mistakes. He had his lumps. Right? I'm the first to admit, he had bad games, bad moments, bad stretches. It happens. But all coaches do. Even the experienced coaches, even the greatest coaches ever have had bad moments, bad games, bad experiences. Budenholzer ended up getting fired because of a couple bad decisions. But this year, look, Darvin Ham, he has the roster. He has the depth. He has the tools. He has everything he needs to be successful. He got the rookie year out of the way, right? He got that, like, okay, we had a bad start. It was tough. Every game had to be game 7. It was grueling. It was taxing. It was exhausting. It was all of that, right? Darvin Ham is now in a position to where he doesn't have to worry about that. And I know some people criticize Darvin Ham for like the guard lineups. He'd play like 3 guard lineups, stuff like that. But again, who was on the roster last year, right? It was all guards, even after the trade. Like, we still had Lonnie Walker, Dennis Schroeder, D'Angelo Russell, Austin Reeves, right? Malik Beasley. Like, we didn't have, like, outside of Rui and Vando, right? Like, who else were our other 4? Like, we didn't have anything. Mo Bamba was hurt the entire time. We didn't have another center, right? You had Winning Gabriel and Tristan Thompson. Like, we didn't have what we have this year. This year, we have it all. And every team in the league plays 3 or 4 guard lineups. Denver against us played 3 and 4 guard lineups. That's why Darvin Ham was trying to match that, right? They had units out there where they had Murray, KCP, Brown, and Braun, right? With like Jokic in the middle or Aaron Gordon at times in the middle. So every team does it. It's just now our guards are bigger for one, right? Our smallest guard is Gabe Vincent. He's 6'3". But now you have a plethora of sizable wings in which he doesn't need to do that. If anything, he should be playing 5, 6, 8 guys, right? Because of LeBron James and his passing ability and whatnot, right? Like that, like you could make all kinds of different configurations. And I'm excited and pumped for it. But again, Darvin Ham, it's go time, right? Rob Pelinka and Genie and all of them, they did their job, right? They handled their business. It's Darvin Ham's turn. You got the tools, you got the roster. There's no reason anyone should be playing more than 30 minutes a game. That includes LeBron, that includes AD. I know some people push back and say, LeBron's never going to do that. LeBron, since being a Laker, outside of 1 year, and that was the year when we traded for Russ, and we had, Dwight and Carmelo and all that stuff. Outside of that year, LeBron's only averaged about 33 and a half minutes per game with the Lakers. Right? The bubble year, I think he played like 32 minutes. And so the idea of him going to be 39 in year 21, right, with all his mileage, coming off of foot injury and whatnot, to think that he wouldn't be okay with playing 30 minutes a game, I just don't buy that, right? I think he would be more than happy doing that, right? Especially if they're winning. But that doesn't mean that, you're playing Boston, the game's tight, right? LeBron's at 30 minutes and there's still 4 minutes left in the game and, it's a tie game. You don't go, well, sorry, Bron, you're at 30 minutes, time to pull you. No, you try to go and get the win. But I'm saying for the most part, you need to pace and balance out the units, keep LeBron, keep AD out of games, right? They're going to get nights off. That's fine. But if we're healthy, there's no excuse. Like, Lakers literally have no excuse. They have the most talented roster front to back. You got 2 top 10 players. What other team in the league has 2 top 10 guys, right? And you have plenty of depth, plenty of size, plenty of switchability. Lakers are probably going to be, number 1 defense. If not, they're probably top 3 to 5. They're going to be top 5 offense. The only team last year that was top 5 in both were the Celtics. The Lakers, in my opinion, are going to be top 5 in both. I wouldn't even be surprised if they're number 1 in both. I wouldn't be surprised if they're number 1 or 2 in offense and number 1 in defense. They have more than enough offensive firepower. They're going to be a better shooting team than I think people think. Right? People still feel like, Lakers are a poor shooting team. I don't know. Right? Like, Christian Wood is a 38% three-point shooter. Gabe Vincent has been a 38, 39% three-point shooter. He was rough last season, but he got back to 39% in the playoffs, and he's going to get more open looks than he's probably ever gotten in his career with LeBron James, Austin Reeves, D'Angelo Russell, all those guys, right? And you have, on top of that, you have Austin Reeves, who's 40%. D'Lo shot 42%. You have Taurean Prince, who can shoot 38, 39%, right? The only liabilities shooting the 3 ball are LeBron, who's very streaky, and can he kind of turn it around? Anthony Davis, who I have concerns about that if he's going to end up playing the 4 spot. But Anthony Davis, he's been rough. And then Jared Vanderbilt's been working on his 3-point shot the entire offseason, right? Rui Hachimura, we'll see, right? He was a little poor during the regular season, but in the playoffs he was like insane. It's like 55% or something like that from three. So can not 50 plus percent, but can he shoot around 38%, right? Like, so the Lakers might be better at the three than they'll get credit for. I don't think they're going to be number one in 3-point percentage or anything like that, but could they be middle of the pack? I don't doubt it, especially with like how marginal, right, shooting percentages are, right? Like the Lakers were 26th or 27th last year, but they were only like 0.3 percent away from being like top 17, right? Like it's so marginal, right? So if the Lakers can be, 37% from three, they'd be top 10 last year. So, I just think that they're there. But again, Rob Pelinka did his part. Rob Pelinka did his job. He gave you a championship or bust roster. He put together a ridiculous, insane level roster. There is no reason, and I mean zero reason, the Lakers should not be in the conversation and not be one of the top 4 to 5 teams in the NBA this year. Right? I don't think necessarily the Lakers are going to push hard for the number 1 seed. Right? Like I look at a team like Sacramento and I think that they're probably not winning the championship. So the number 1 seed, I think, really means a lot to them. They're a team that had been in the playoffs last year, and that was the first time in 15 years or something like that since they made the playoffs. So a team like that, getting the 1 seed would mean more to them. But a team like the Lakers, who, yes, they're young, they're youthful, but their goal is to win the championship. Whether they're the 3 seed or the 1 seed, my guess is they're somewhere in like the top 4 seed. But if they're number 1 defense and a top 5 offense, they should be number 1 or 2 in the Western Conference. I just think if it's like a game or 2 behind, right? Like let's say they are the 1 seed with 3 games left, and the worst that they could fall is to the 3 seed, right? And there's 5 games left in the regular season. I could see the Lakers saying, let's sit LeBron, let's sit AD, let's sit Reeves, right? Like, let's sit our 3 or 4 main guys. And best case, we finish in the 1 seed. Worst case, we finish as a 3 seed. No big deal, right? I could see something like that. Not saying that they will, but I could see that, right? Where the Lakers care more about, hey, last thing we need is Anthony Davis and LeBron James hurt. Who cares about seeding? We have a roster that has proven they could be the 1 seed, top offense, top defense. Let's get in. Rob did his part. It's Darvin Ham's job now to get that done. Put it all together, put the pieces to the puzzle. He's going to have some ups and downs because you're going to have to try to figure this out, right? Because that's the problem with having a roster this deep and this talented, is there is a legit argument for like 13 guys on this roster to be in the starting unit. And you're going to have like 2 of those 13 not play at all on a regular basis, right? So Darvin Ham is going to have to really navigate this. And he's going to have to manage egos. He's going to have to get everybody to buy in. He's going to have his hands full, without a doubt. He's going to have his hands very full. But I believe in Darvin Ham. I think he is a championship level coach. And I think this year he'll get his first NBA championship. Those are my thoughts. And as always, I pass the question on to you. Let me know yours down in the comments below. What do you think? Do you agree with me? Disagree with me? How do you feel? Whatever thoughts, I'd love to hear it. Let me know down in the comments.